Hello, 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 hello. What a fun little song.
Hey, how's that for an intro, brother?
Well, it's already going better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're back.
Okay, everybody's text working here. Let me just hit record this time.
Yeah, dude, nice one.
Got it working there. There you go. That's good. Idis, how's your mic doing there? Is it good?
Does it
Everybody's
sound good? You sound
No, you're on the
technically
computer
good?
audio
No,
for
you're
sure.
on the computer audio, which maybe that's a good little way to kick this off because, yeah, thanks for tuning into the live episode. Another recording here of the live episode because last time I didn't select the right microphone, so here we are again doing this again. But I don't know. I'm happy to be here. How about you, Aldo?
Oh, I'm stoked. I thought we did a good job, but doing it another time obviously couldn't hurt.
Yeah, why not?
Plus, this time I've got seltzers.
Oh, excellent. Do you, eh? Oh, well, how about you, Yoma? How you doing, huh?
I'm great. I got water.
Okay, that's
oh, okay,
good.
that's
good.
cool. Yeah. Mitch, what do you got?
I also have some water going here. So I don't have any seltzers, but maybe I should grab a beer or something like that.
Yeah,
We'll
do
see.
that.
Well, let's see. Maybe at the halfway through mark, I'll have to get myself a pint. But yeah, here we are again. And as Idis figures out his microphone, because you can see him here on the live, we're going to get started here on the SoFly 150th celebration. And oh, I always mess that one up. There we go. There's the clapping there, and thank you all for tuning in again. How's it going?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm great, Mitch. It's an unseasonably hot day here in Toronto. It is like
Unseasonably.
30 degrees Celsius,
Yeah, it's
of
crazy.
course. It's hot as
Crazy
hell.
hot here. It is
But I'm
super
good.
hot.
I think we'll start this off by opening a seltzer.
Yeah. Crack that open. Crack it open.
Right on.
And there you go. What kind of seltzer is that?
This is Willibald's Fruit Punch Seltzer.
Ooh, Willibald. I really like Willibald. They make some good stuff.
Good stuff. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I
It's
don't-
made here. It's awesome.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
What do you
shit.
got,
Oh.
Yoma?
This is something we
Going
used
on
to do on
over
our podcast, and episode 150, round one. We did the "What You Sippin' On," which is something we always
Yeah.
used to do. But we've been drinking more water, trying to take care of ourselves. But it's time to celebrate. Hey,
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
hey,
100%.
Yoma, is it time to celebrate or what?
It is, and I got a seltzer.
Okay, good.
Little White Claw going on there.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Something to hydrate me at the same time as not
Yeah.
Hey, I saw Shelly today at the Shoppers Drug Mart with Barbara, her partner.
The Shoppers Drug Mart.
The
Right
Shoppers Drug Mart. Yeah.
Right, the one.
Shelley,
Got her
Shelley, of course,
flies all
being
dried.
oh, right on. Shelley, of course, being one of our guests on the Lady Evelyn trips from a few years ago, and a very passionate new angler in
Yes.
Southern Ontario, and one of our
That is an
fans and
understatement.
part of our community, and it's awesome. I'm also going to address my hair's cut, so thanks for asking.
Oh,
It's the
wow.
shortest my
Yeah, look
hair's
at
ever
that.
been.
Jeez. Look at
And,
you. You look quite, you look good.
Thanks, man. Let's troubleshoot Adis here for a second. 'Cause it looks like he's having a problem. Is your
Look at him struggling.
Adis on your focus right? Is your phantom power on? Your 48 volt?
Yeah, that's on. I hear my microphone in my headphones.
Okay, so we don't. You do
Maybe
it's-
try leaving and coming back.
Yeah, leave and come back.
Okay,
That
bye.
usually fixes the problem.
You know what I love is that we're at 150 episodes here, okay, and now we're having fucking tech problems. Like, geez, the irony of this.
The irony.
150 episodes in, I forget to hit record, and Idis's mic isn't working. Well, here we are, anyways, recording, and we'll see what happens when Idis gets back. Figure out all the tech, and then we'll jump back into.
Yeah, well,
talking
maybe
about
let's just do some
150
housekeeping
eps.
really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm wearing this fun shirt, and Yoma's wearing that fun hat. Reddington and Rio
Oh.
and Farbank, they're doing a 50% off sale right now on all their merch. If
That's
you guys
right.
want to, go there and buy some sweet merch for yourselves. I think it's lasting until, well, here, let me pull it up because I've got the internet in front of me.
Yeah.
It's happening right now, and it doesn't say when it's going to end, so that's cool.
Who
But
cares?
who cares? Take
It's
advantage
on
of it.
now. Go get it now. Take advantage
Because
of it. while you
honestly,
can.
that dad hat that Yoma's wearing is friggin' sweet. And shout out
It's a nice
to
hat.
Clay, the creative director over at Farbank. He designed them all, and he's a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
We've been fishing together. They've been a supporter this year, so that was a segue to say thanks, Farbank, Reddington, Rio, and everybody there for supporting us. Because it's
Yeah.
been 150 episodes, which is crazy.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and they've got some great stuff. So definitely don't pass up on that 50% off. And and go get yourself some goods.
Yeah. Mitch,
What are we giving away today?
wait,
Because we got some.
before
okay,
we
yeah.
do that, can I see your hat? I never see what's on your hat. Oh,
Costa hat.
Where'd you get that?
It's a camo
Probably
Costa hat.
sunglasses.
Costa sunglasses. So brought to me with the hat that I'm wearing today, and you can see it here on my head.
That's nice.
I got it from Hannah and Joe when we were down in Miami, actually. Yeah, I kind of like this one. It's a trucker hat.
Dude,
which, you know,
it kind of suits you, being a trucker and all.
that's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right on, brother.
So, Mitch, what are we
Um,
gonna do today? Now that we've had, this is our second kick
Yeah.
at the can. Like, what's
This is the second kick
what
of
are we
the can.
think? What are we thinking? What are we gonna do today?
We're probably gonna. So, of course, if you're listening to this after the fact, we're recording this live right now, airing on the YouTube.
We
this is
will
why the-
upload it, obviously,
immediately
to the
Yeah.
podcast, and so
immediately.
people can listen to it afterwards. Because right now we've got 7 people watching, and I think one
So
of
you're
those people
probably
is me.
listening to this after the fact. Thank you to the 7 tuning in.
My mom
We
is
love
watching
you.
though, so
You're the goats. Yeah, we're gonna upload this to the regular podcasting stuff, but it's not September 1st. This is the 4th, and if you're wondering why you're listening to the show a few days late, it's
Itis.
because we had technical problems. That's why.
Yeah.
Welcome back, guys.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm back.
And there's your mic.
there's your
So
microphone.
great.
Wow,
There we go. He
sounds
sounds
great.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
see?
perfect.
Holy guacamole.
It just took us a little time, but we figured it out. And you
Yeah,
know
we're
what? We're doing
smart.
it live, and we're doing it on the tube, and these things happen. At least this time we're recording, and we do sound good, and we had some nice intro music. But yeah, if you're listening to this, is the 4th because on the first we did a show at Yilma's house, which is one of the first places we ever talked about SoFly. So we decided that'd be such a fitting location to do the 150th episode, and we did a whole show, and it was lots of fun. We talked about all kinds of stuff that we're probably going to talk on a little bit today. And at the end, I realized I didn't have the right microphone plugged in, and I didn't hit record on the backup. So, I messed up, and that's why it's the 4th. But thank you for tuning in and waiting a couple days to get the fishy content that you so deeply crave. Let's hope that it's a good one. I think it will be today. Although we're going to be talking about, of course, 150 episodes and celebrating that. We're also going to be talking about where the show began. We're going to talk about some of our first trips together. We're going to talk about some of the stuff we've done this summer, because this is, of course, also just a good opportunity to talk about the summer season now that the summer's kind of wrapping up. We've got a Factor Fishy from Yilma. We've got a trivia from me.
Whoa.
We've got some giveaways.
Yep.
We've got some prizes, which are the same thing. And we're going to talk about what maybe we want to do with SoFly in the future.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna ask
How
a
does that sound?
question, and
Yeah.
let's see if Yilma remembers his answer from the other day.
Mhm.
Yilma, when you started SoFly,
Mm-hmm.
in your head, was there like an episode count or years or whatever where you're like, man, if we could get to this amount of episodes, that'll be, amazing. What did you in your head think, as a goal,
I like round numbers and big round numbers. So in my head was 300 always.
Really?
I know we're halfway there. I mean, it's another.
Had the
6
movie
years
just come out?
together.
300? Yeah, 300's a very. So I know we talked about this the other day. It's a very specific thing. Yeah, you think we're going to stop at 300? No more, no less.
I mean, we're gonna get there. That's all I know.
Right, you're hoping to get to 300 is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That'll mean.
And then from,
Yeah.
do
I
you
was
want
just
to hang
gonna
out for
say-
that long?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I think. I don't know. Who else do I hang out with aside from Bree and my dog?
That's right.
true.
It was Frankie's birthday the other day, too.
was.
Happy birthday, Frankie.
Yeah, happy birthday, 1-year-old. Wow.
There you go.
Adis, when's Bruce's birthday?
I don't know.
Okay,
Where is
cool.
he? Can you see him?
Right.
Let me see
Bruce
behind
is,
you.
It's right there.
Brucey.
Bruce is, of course, he was found on the streets, so he's
Streets of Texas.
We don't know. Do you know how old Bruce is? I know this is not so
I don't know,
dog,
like
but
I don't know, 6 or 7.
oh, okay, well, well, happy birthday, Bruce, whenever that is, and
Say November.
yeah. So wait, 300 episodes. It took us about 6-7ish years to get to 150. So that's another 6-7 years. But that was also we were doing double episodes during COVID. So it could
Well,
take
but
us
when you
like-
started, you were only doing one episode every once in a while.
so it kind of
Yeah.
equalizes.
It kind of
out.
equalizes.
So, okay.
Well, you're
7 more
doing
years.
24. We do 24 a year,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do the math.
Well, that means that by the time we get to 300
It'll
episodes,
be another
Yilma,
5-6 years.
You're gonna be looking at retirement, Yilma. These jokes just don't land the same. on Friday.
They're just gonna.
These are the same jokes that we made the other day.
Yeah, we're all just gonna be
people that are
fake,
on now
fake
are like-
laughing. Yeah.
Oh my god! All right, well, why don't we just kind of jump into some stuff on the beginning of SoFly and how it started? Because Yilma, you said you want to get to 300 episodes.
Three.
Did you 300 and then getting to 150 though? What does that feel like for you, Yilma? Itis?
Yeah, it feels amazing. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, Yilma, do you remember the first little few days we were conceptualizing SoFly? Do you remember where that was?
That was at McVeigh's Bar, the oldest Irish pub in Toronto, actually. And yeah, we went there. I was asking our boss Karen at the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna get into fly fishing. I just want to. I mean, I fished my whole life. I want to do something new, challenge myself. She's like, oh, this guy Mitch, he's interning here. Go talk to him. I heard he fly fishes. And then it was basically love at first cast, you know. And we went over to McVeigh's, you know, after work one day and started brainstorming, and yeah.
Nice.
And actually, Yilma came up with the name SoFly at that pub.
Did you have other options?
I don't think so.
Yeah, what were the runners up? I wanna
I
know.
said SoFly, and I said,
Okay.
Mitch had like he had
we're going to make the same jokes. Oh, yeah, the runners-up were Reddington, Rio,
Rio.
what do you call it, remember?
Chums, Costa, and
Yeah.
Every-
But they
Mitch-
were all taken, so...
Mitch had a social, you know, what did you
Blog.
call it? Drift?
Oh, right, like a
It was
blog,
a blog, but it was
Yeah.
also
Blog,
like
man.
it was something bigger than just a blog. It was
yeah.
gathering of people around the world who fly fish.
It was like a social page. It was like a
Yeah.
social
Was it
media
Tumblr?
page.
Oh, it was a
And-
forum.
yeah,
It was an
yeah.
Instagram page.
You had a
and
forum.
and it was called yeah.
it was called Drift.
Yeah. Why did you just trail off like that? It
was called-
Did we just break?
Yeah.
Did we just break him?
And it was called
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called Drift. And then, of course, when I came to Toronto, you know, and was looking to start something and met Yilma, Drift Outfitters and Fly Shop, who was our first sponsor actually. They opened up and was like, oh shit, Drift, wow. Yeah, and so yeah, I mean, we've known Rob since the beginning too. I think episode 3 we recorded with Rob at Drift, and of course we've had Chris on as well. Early,
and
early on.
we've recorded there before. We've done live shows there, and
Yeah.
you know.
So shout out to Drift.
I'm also just going to
being there from
take
the beginning.
a sec to say, you know, there's a couple people watching. If you want to ask us some questions, by all means, we're following along on the live stream. So, yeah, please.
Oh, Michaela's on.
Hey, Michaela.
Yep, this is my sister.
Shout out
Hello.
to Justin. Thank you, sir. Fly fishing Matt. Thank you. Much appreciated.
I was just
yeah.
at her house this morning, giving Dylan some comics.
Oh, there you go. That's fun.
Okay,
Yilma.
well, there we go.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a very interesting start to Zola, and yeah, 150 episodes. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think we would make it this far, to be honest. I thought we'd make it to maybe 10, 15, but here we are.
Well, I was on episode 17, and then we
right.
met Itis when we first went to Mexico. And, of course, you know, we can't be remiss if we didn't mention, of course, Gab, our good friend Gab, who is living in Quebec City and helped launch
Yep.
this show and taking photos. But, you know, we met Itis in 2019 when he went to Mexico and didn't even fly fish then. Just came to help us
It was
shoot.
pretty serendipitous little get together there.
You didn't even want to fly fish, dude. I was offering. Like, yo, take
Nah,
a cast.
man.
It's like, no, that's not what I'm here
No,
for.
It was all about the work.
It
Yeah.
was working,
You know, you don't mix the two.
I love those.
and that turned out to
videos.
be like one of your favorite trips, right? Everybody,
Me. It was it is my
it was
favorite.
your favorite.
Well, I mean, I also liked it. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's not your favorite.
It's not your favorite.
Well, it's
I
hard to
think
say
it's
favorite. We've been to so many amazing places.
It's pretty.
Well, why
easy
don't we
to say
talk a
my
little bit
favorite.
about our favorite trips a little bit? You know, because we have been to so many
Yeah.
amazing
Okay,
places.
that's a nice segue.
Wow.
Aldo, what is your favorite trip from over the years? We've done lots. Of course, we're saying we started way back, and Gab and Yilma and I first went to Temagami to hang out with our friend, of course, Eric, up in Temagami. I think because he was starting that business at the time. Then from there, we went to Elk Lake. That was our first trip together, you know. And then from there, we went to hers with Attawapiskat, Estagami, all over the place. Texas, Florida, Indiana,
Yep.
Tobago,
Bahamas.
Mexico,
South
Bahamas.
Africa.
Couple times. Like,
Yeah, pretty wild. The places this has actually taken us.
Yeah.
And then when you say
my
it out
gosh.
loud like that, you're like, well, we fished in collectively anyway. We fished in Mexico, Tobago, South Africa, all over this province.
BC,
Me-
out east,
Did I
Montana,
say Mexico?
Indiana, Texas,
Yeah, you said
Florida.
Mexico.
Did I say Mexico?
Oh, you said Mexico.
Mexico.
Been a few Mexico
Florida.
trips for you.
Yeah, it's been pretty well. Pennsylvania,
Indiana.
Mexico. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. Favorite trip? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really liked that first Elk Lake trip. I think there was just like, it was so, a first of something that's amazing is always kind of cool. But, you know, I was just bartending. Mary Jo and Roger came in, and we just started chatting, and one thing led to another, and, you know, just started kind of working with you guys. And they're like, well, why don't you guys come up to the lodge? And I was like, what? I was almost like not prepared for them to say yes or something. And then, you know, we had
Okay.
It was kind of wild. It was kind of a wild like thing that happened. Like you started SoFly days before,
Yep.
really,
yeah,
and then
true.
you're working at the bar, and then the lodge owners come to you at the bar, and they start talking to you, and it's like, come to our lodge. It's like, oh, this is like, I don't know. It's these things that have happened throughout SoFly that were so almost coincidental.
Yeah.
Like the four of us even meeting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and being like, yeah, let's record podcast, forget to hit record, and do it again in a couple days. Having the commitment to like do this type of thing, it's like very random, you know, like so. Yeah, that's crazy that Roger and
And it's just a great trip. Like, I mean, you know, this is the
Yeah.
furthest north I had been at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was the same for all of us, you know, and getting
Yeah.
to see a lot of the province that I'd never seen before, having lived here my whole life. And it was just like, it was just great. We had a lot of fun. We had great fishing. And it was just really cool. And it kind of like taught us what we could do with it
Yeah.
as well, with, this brand. And I just thought, I think that's what made that one so special. But obviously, I mean, like, catching freaking Atlantic salmon
They're
on the
all
Marguerite and like hooking
Of course,
tarpon
they're all
in
amazing.
Florida with one of the, you know, most legendary guides ever. Like, you know, I don't know, like how am I
What's there
supposed
not to love?
how am I supposed to pick a favorite? It's pretty crazy, but I
I
think
feel you.
it's more like, you know, it's the best trips I think, and they're all fun. But the best is when all four of us are together,
Yes.
because it's like the zaniest and like
Yeah.
the most creative and like the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I suppose it's like its favorite could just also just be like something that means a lot to you, you know. Like Yilma, you say yours was which one?
Tulum.
It was Tulum. Yeah, I mean Aldo has a good point. I mean they're all amazing trips, but there
course.
was just like aura about Tulum that was just special. You know, and maybe it started from the fact that, you know, Chris at Drift was always telling me how hard bonefish are to catch, and I know they're really hard to catch, especially when you're walking the flats. But you know, I was still kind of ignorant to it, and to get there to Tulum, drive to the coast, Aldo telling me to cast. As soon as our guide Rhett was like, there they are, and catching one on my first cast was kind of emotional and amazing. So like, it's hard not to say that that's my favorite. Right?
I think it was funny too, because we're all freaking out, like, you
Yeah.
know. I'm like, holy shit, we actually caught a boat. Like, because in my head, I'm like, this is basically a DIY trip. I mean, Rhett helped us out immensely, of course,
He did,
but
yeah.
like, you know, it was never really saltwater fly fish before,
Yeah.
and you know, within minutes, we've got one in our hand. I'm bringing this back to a point. We're freaking out. Joel's taking pictures. You know, Andy, another good friend of ours and photographer, was there. Kind of understood that when you catch something, it's special, even though he's not, you know, he's not himself a fly angler. But Aegis was just there, like, capturing, and he's like, "Oh, is that supposed to be hard?" Or like, he's like, because like by within 30 minutes, we had landed like 20 bonefish, and he's like, I don't understand why these guys are fucking freaking out so much. Like,
Are you,
Yeah,
are you
just
supposed to
like-
be bad at this?
it's just like,
Yeah, it's a fish. It's a fish, whatever.
yeah, he's like, wow, you caught a fish. That's crazy.
They literally
Did the
have those
thing you
at
were
the grocery
intending to
store.
do.
You know, like I could just go to the farm boy and see a
How
fish.
little
and
did
eat it
you
for
know, Adis, how obsessed you'd become.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny 'cause it's like I've had that same experience with like almost every species that we've fished for now. It's like steelheading, caught a steelhead like almost the
Yeah,
first time
true.
out. Pike
A
fishing,
nice one.
caught a bunch of pike the first time out. Same with
Yeah.
browns. And
That's your
everything.
brand.
What,
Walleye.
just
yeah.
get in and out
Yeah.
right away and move on
Right
to another
away.
hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in, catch everything, leave.
Yeah.
That's right. I think
Tie
that's
everything
the
too.
way to do it. Yeah.
It's a good point though, but I mean, you have had very good fishy experiences like getting into it. You know, like going to Esnagami. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it was the first time fly fishing. It's like,
Yeah, it's like I was like, "Is this pike fishing?" Okay, cool. This is great. I like this. I assume it's
Yeah.
like this everywhere.
Yeah,
It is not.
it is
It
not.
is not.
No. Well,
like,
which
what?
trip has been your fave, Idis? Like out of the ones we've done, what's
Honestly, I think it's
what
like the
stands out?
second Esnagami trip was my favorite.
That's a great trip.
It was a
super
good trip.
fun,
Like
man.
full crew,
Yeah.
7 days of fishing up there.
Yep.
It was pretty wild. And it's like to the point like, you know, you get so saturated. You're like, this is how I exist now. Wake up at
Yes.
7, eat some breakfast, eat breakfast even though you're not hungry. Get it
Yeah.
in you and get on the boats and go.
And just fish all day. And
Just fish all day.
yeah,
much
I mean,
fucking
Esnagami's
food.
the best, you know. And
Oh,
just
it's so
such
much
a
fun.
freaking awesome place up
And
there.
it's
Of
like
course,
anyone-
we've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, anyone who listens to the show knows how much we love like
Yeah.
pike fishing on the fly.
Yes.
And I feel like that is for me was like peak pike fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pike fishing
Yeah,
on the
true.
fly. Well, you know, it's a good segue to my favorite trip, which was out of Wapiscat. The pike fishing was crazy, and that was my favorite trip because it was like the biggest trip fast. You know what I mean? Like go out on a turbo beavers, fly hours north, be in a very, you know, like remote place, catching giant fish, and just being
Yeah.
like, oh, cool, we can actually do this
What a wild
thing,
trip.
this
too.
SoFly thing. You know, like it
Mhm.
sort of clicked. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
we're actually in the middle of nowhere doing this. So
It's funny
Crazy.
you say that because after our first go at the 150 episode on Friday,
Mhm.
I got a little nostalgic and watched every single trip video of ours. And
Oh, nice.
yeah,
You know,
It's
the
kind of
first
fun to
one-
look back at them. One, to
Yeah.
just learn a bit about how to edit
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
ones,
See
but also
everyone's
just to like
hairstyles.
reminisce
yeah,
Exactly.
and just
Hair
look
style
at like
photo
I
album.
think, you know, posting those pictures was funny too because it's like we look pretty different, especially you, Yilma. Like you,
Oh my god,
I was like, who the.
that
You
picture.
did look like 18 when you were like,
Yeah, I know it's weird. That picture is weird. I mean, I there's a couple group chats I have with some high school friends, and they sent it to me like just chirping the shit out of me. It's like, who is this guy? So
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
yeah,
So
yeah.
silly.
Yeah, it's funny to
Well-
think like all the things we've learned in the last 6 years: boat shooting, fishing, the environment.
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
no,
it's like it's pretty wild.
it's easy to take it for granted, and with a memory like mine, kind of forget stuff. But it's like when you start to remember. That's why I like having the YouTube channel and these podcasts, because just for ourselves to go back, like almost like photo albums. It's just like, oh yeah, like we've done a lot of stuff for
Yeah.
these 150 episodes. Like it's
It's
kind
been
of
cool.
wild, you know.
It's cool during like the pandemic too. I feel like we kind of really that's like because I feel like that's when I really joined in, and I
Yeah.
hadn't really gone that far north into Ontario, and like we've done a lot of trips just in Ontario and really explored quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Ontario
It's
is
pretty
awesome.
pretty cool, like learning about all the different fisheries and stuff, and how each one's
Oh, yeah.
pretty unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Lot
been
of fun,
cool. Like
yeah.
even like in Southern Ontario in general, like just understanding
Mm-hmm.
that more and
Mhm.
like exploring places like the Beaver, Big Head,
Yeah,
Saugeen,
Totally.
Maitland, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's 150 episodes. It's been a good one. It's been a lot of really, really cool experiences, and excited for more. But why don't we talk a little bit about
Aldo
this
has a
summer?
question.
Just
Aldo,
a sec.
yeah.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
I mentioned, periodically, we've invited people to ask questions. So
Good
we've
question,
got a
good
question
question.
here from Fly Fishing Matt. SoFly has done a great job showcasing a variety of people involved in fly fishing. Love that aspect of your show. Thanks, Matt. I'm assuming your name is Matt, Fly Fishing Matt. In the next 150 episodes, do you have some personalities you want to get on the show? And how about a reflection of some of those personalities looking back on your first 150?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, how about starting there with some of the people we've had on the past? Like, we've had some really awesome guests on, obviously, people that are very good anglers and
Yep.
people doing lots of stuff for the environment and everything else. I've always really enjoyed, I think we can all, I mean, all of them are awesome. Again, picking a favorite, whatever, but
Yeah.
having local people on has been awesome. Like a few of the episodes that have always stood out to me were like James Bond, Bamboo Builder. It was like just an awesome episode because he was so into it, and being a local guy, maybe there aren't really a lot of like local podcasts for fly fishing, bamboo building rods around here. So like him getting on something and being able to just like talk maybe wasn't something that was even in the realm of possibility for someone like James Bond, like, so being able to kind of offer him that forum to just like talk about stuff and be really into it was super fun. So that was one of my faves. And also, I got to say, like, learning about this isn't even that old, like long ago, but also having writers on the show has been really cool because writers come at it from, you've got the local people, which is nice because you're giving them a forum, you're hearing about your local fisheries. Then having writers on, I've always found interesting because they like go really hard at one sort of thing and get really deep into it, obviously, because usually we're interviewing, people that have written books. One of my favorites was Monty Burke, who wrote, obviously, Lords of the Fly and like talked about tarpon fishing in Homosassa, and like that was a cool book. And Monty was just like, I loved that interview. I thought it was super cool to talk about something so specific that I didn't know anything about, So I don't know. I feel like having the podcast and kind of making it open to having local people on, and then really learned people when it comes to like a specific thing, and then people like that do guiding in a place we don't know about, like really having this melange of guests and not being like it's just about guides or something, it's just about authors, I think has allowed us to also just like have this very wide perspective and again give the mic kind of to everybody and have this like giant kind of variety type show. So
Yeah.
I don't know, my favorites though have been locals and authors. I don't know about you guys.
I think I actually really like this question, but I think it's something you've always said, Mitch, where it's like the great thing about podcasts is they can kind of live as a actually you just kind of said it a couple minutes ago, but like as like a reference that you can always go back to. And I think something we've talked about in the past is like, Matt, to answer your question, some of the personalities looking back on the show that I've loved is like I like chronicling in our in our small way, like chronicling like the community of fly fishing, meaning like having certain guests on, especially from the Ontario community that none of us are going to be around here forever, so it's cool to go back and have people on the show that meant a lot to either this community or fly fishing in general. I know, Mitch, is something both you and I always lament, like it's too bad we could never have had Lefty Cray on the show. Big personalities like that developed a lot of the sport. So to have people like Monty on or one of my, have people like, Colin McEwen that started the new Fly Fisher, which was massively inspirational to us. Not only in our fishing, but just for this show and content in general. Like, it's cool to like chronicle that and put it away and be like, this was a moment in fly fishing, and But then sometimes you, like you said, like you get these curveballs that end up being like your favorite episodes. And for me, I think Mark Kingwell was a favorite episode of mine. Having a philosophy professor from U of T come on the show and talk about, I mean, obviously he's written about the philosophy of fly fishing, and is an angler himself, but it's just, that's a really cool perspective. Like he's not a guide, doesn't own a lodge, doesn't like fly fishes for fun, but doesn't really fly fish that often.
Doesn't have a stake in the game, I guess.
and to get their perspective on it is really interesting. And then I think, Matt, going back to your question, like, do we have some personalities we want to come? I think it's important. It would be important to me anyway to get some more of those, let's say personalities on, while we still can, kind of thing, and whether they be guides like Benny Blanco who have such knowledge and really care about a species that I love, which is like the tarpon, even though it's not around here, but it's such a cool thing, or someone like Flip Pallet that developed a lot of the stories. Someone like Joan Wolfe would be amazing to have on the show before before we can't. And
for sure.
I think that'd be kind of cool because it's like a living diary almost of the sport. That's a great question, Matt.
There's so much history, like the podcasts are kind of a great medium to document it, Also, selfishly, like we've always said this, but like we want to talk to people that we admire, and like a podcast allows you to just like email Mark Kingwell and be like, "I have a podcast in Toronto. Do you want to come on it?" And he's just like, "Sure, yeah, I'll come on it." It's like, "Oh, okay, sick," and then you're talking to him for an hour. It's like, "Oh, that's so rad."
I mean, like, would I love to get a really famous person who fly fishes and just talk to them about fly fishing, like Michael
Come on,
Keaton
Liam Neeson.
or Liam Neeson. We've tried. Or Emma Watson. They all love fly fishing, and just be like, talk to their agent and be like, no.
Jimmy Kimmel.
We're not talking about
Dick Cheney.
Movies. We're not Dick Cheney. We're not. If I bet you if we tried to reach out to all of them, he would be the only one that said yes, and we'd have to be like, actually, never mind.
Actually, we don't want to do that.
But it'd be crazy to have imagine if Liam Neeson came on the show. Like that would be hilarious. But and all we did was talk about fly fishing. We don't mention their movies at all.
I was just gonna say, we're just holding back Star Wars questions.
Yeah.
We're just like,
Do you even know what midichlorians are? Anyway.
I love it. No, it's a really good question.
But
I think
Adis, you're relatively new to the sport. Like, is there someone that because you've been really absorbing it? Is there someone that you would love to have on the show?
No, so honestly, it's like no. I don't know a lot of the people. I don't read about a lot about fly fishing and stuff. I mean, for me lately, it's been fly tying. It's been really interesting. Learning about that stuff and the history there has been fascinating. I think the interesting thing for me about SoFly, as someone who's kind of new to it, and it's I think one of you guys pointed this out, was we're kind of talking about okay, what are we gonna do with SoFly? What are you gonna use it for? And it's it's for building a community and giving people voices that don't usually have voices. And it's really, you can do whatever we want, right? There's no, there's no greater accountability. There's no backing behind this, right? It's whatever we feel like doing, which I think is really cool. And exploring that further and building this community in fly fishing. It's awesome. It's a great community. And coming from, someone who's been involved in really niche sports for my entire life, it's cool seeing, the same sort of thing in rock climbing and other sports before that, where it's from the
Never did
this thing, and then you start doing it and you find out it's a super supportive community. Everyone talks to each other. You know, so that's really cool to see. And I'd like to see the evolution of that, and revisit guests we've had on before and talk to them what they're doing now, how it's going for them, what's changed, what's new. All the stuff we do with BGOW is really cool. Seeing all these people that have gotten into fly fishing now and they're interested in it, and asking hey, can I come fishing with you guys? Can I come? So I think that's really cool to see how SoFly has created this kind of platform for people to feel it's almost like a meeting place, or whatever. This thing that people are feel everyone's kind of a part of it. You know what I mean?
totally.
We bring people on trips that they're not on the podcast, but yeah, come on this trip. Cool. You want to fish? Great. Let's go. You know what I mean? So I think that's
100%.
Really interesting. It's not I think that kind of makes it a bit unique, because there is no real greater accountability other than ourselves.
And it's for everyone. You're right.
For everyone,
That's by design, right? I think we would all agree that it's not trying to be a cool club. Anyone's
we're definitely
invited,
not cool.
Exactly.
Everybody's invited. That's why I think having that huge mix of people, whether they're just some person that fishes the Credit River all the time, or Lefty Cray. Well,
and I think
awesome.
I just think
somebody super famous.
it's cool to see people talk to us on the river and stuff. People recognize us.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Someone who's new to fly fishing, where I was asking questions before to everybody. Now it's I feel I can share knowledge of certain fisheries that I know about, and people are oh, hey man, oh, you're on the podcast. What do you recommend for here? What do you know about this river? And sharing that knowledge with people and chatting with people on the river is cool. It's this whole little thing.
Yeah, it's sort of a shorthand to meeting new people on the water.
Yeah,
it's you have this common thing, which is the podcast.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yelma, what do you think?
Yelma, who do you want to have on, Yelma?
I don't know.
Or
just types of people.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wonder why people don't ask me for my. I'm just kidding.
Ask you for your what?
My opinion on the river.
What was that?
Oh, on the river.
You gotta go fishing first, man.
Well, you got to go fishing.
You got to go to the river. That's the place to start.
True.
Idis's idea of redoing all the guests. Hey, let's just go back to episode 1. Start from the top, baby. 300 episodes right there.
We don't even have to think about it.
Wow.
I don't know if there's a
Recycle 'em.
specific person, but I do gravitate towards the environment specific topics. So
What an interesting thing to say, Yilma.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good segue.
You want to know why?
why?
Because we got a question.
Because we got a question from Jim,
Oh shit!
and Jim says you guys have talked a lot in past. Did you mean to do this? No.
No,
'Cause
I
now
didn't.
I'm just watching you read it now.
Yeah,
guys-
I'm looking at
you
it.
gotta
now.
answer it.
Jim
Jim
says-
on the same page.
You guys have talked a lot in past episodes about environmental concerns. What do you think is something people should be aware of when they're out fishing?
Yilma, that's all you.
That's all you, man.
Get it. Get it.
I mean, there's not one thing, right? There's probably a lot of stuff to be thinking about. Ilma.
Oh man, yeah. There's not just one thing. I mean, I guess my thing is I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
Remember when we went to do the trash flies and me and you went to the Humber River and spent
Oh,
35 seconds and
that's
had
true.
a bag?
But
of
I don't know
garbage?
which specific one that I think like this is not just one thing. It's obviously it's making sure that when you're out in the river, you're coming out, you're taking plastic with you. If you see it, just don't leave it there. It's going the extra mile, really, for me.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, I mean, someone else want to take it? Someone else? I don't know.
I mean,
hate
I
getting these
think
questions. I
a
feel like I'm on the
really-
spot. I hate it.
No, you're fine. I think a really simple thing that people can do is start understanding, try to understand a little bit about fish ecology, and
Yeah.
and fish health. An easy one is trout.
Yeah.
Like,
Temperatures.
if it's hot, don't fish for them. And what does that mean exactly? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Drift and a lot of our sponsors, they always post, temperature gauges and whatnot, and where, what's an acceptable level or temperature level that, you can safely, catch and release fish,
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're not planning on releasing the fish, I guess that's another thing, but, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as it's done sustainably. But I think fish health is an easy one to start with. If you're fishing for trout, what are the acceptable degrees and temperatures that a fish can recover in? Like you don't need to be fishing for trout, especially in Ontario. We're so blessed with bass, pike, muskie, carp, etc., etc. It's how can these fish best be released? Or just understanding and even if you're not fishing a protected waterway, even somewhere like the Lady Evelyn River
yeah.
in Temagami, where there are no special regulations, where it's catch and release only. Are you sure that you should be keeping them anyway? Are you certain that the population is healthy? And that if you can't keep a big fish, is that potentially a fish that could make a lot more fish? And just
Yeah.
understanding am I doing this ethically? Am I really
Totally.
thinking about this? Especially if
Yeah.
people, like us who are, there are definitely food insecure people, and they harvest to feed themselves, and I cannot hate on that, obviously.
Well,
But
and you're
people like
just
me who go to Wendy's on the way to the river,
Totally. Totally, man.
do you really need to keep that fish? Because I know you're going to Tim Hortons after. So, I think,
It's awareness,
just
right?
awareness of if it's bass. I mean, trout get a lot of love because they are very sensitive cold water species, but there's an acceptable temperature range for every fish: pike, bass, walleye, etc. So maybe just understanding that. In general, I'd say just stream health. It's not just taking garbage out of the river. Are you noticing things? Especially the Humber River, Adis, you fish that all the time.
Mhm.
Sometimes we've seen people repost things on TikTok and Instagram about just people dumping shit in the river, and it's
Yep.
you can be a local steward without being just raising your hand and being like, well, I don't think the river should be on fire. Does anybody know about this?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and trying to notify, I don't know, some sort of proper authority.
You know what I hate about that area of the Humber? Is that
Which area?
when you're fishing, people are like, why are they fishing there? Like, are you fucking
Right.
kidding me? The river's gotten
Yeah, I
this
feel
bad
yeah.
that
I know,
you
I
cannot
know.
see somebody
People are
fishing.
scared of the water,
They're
It's
scared
like,
of it.
geez, this is a river,
It's so
guys.
crazy.
I think
Well, that's why
it's a
swim
really-
drink fish started.
Well, that's a
One of my
great. I
favorite
was just gonna
guests.
say, we had Swim Drink Fish. We had Mark Matson on from Swim Drink Fish to talk about just water quality and all the issues facing that. And there's a ton. We've done all kinds of episodes about the environment, talking about things facing the environment. There's so many issues. I feel like, Aldo, to your point, what do you think is something people should be aware of when they're out fishing? I feel like it's sort of having that, and it was John in Indiana. Remember the duck decoy maker there?
Yeah.
John, he recently passed away, but he was in one of our videos for Indiana, and he actually led one of the fights on the White River to bring it back. And he had a really good line, which was I think when you're fishing and you're in nature, you have to take a second to remember you have the ability as a human to destroy that place. You can just totally doink it. And it's we're kind of doing that right now. We're seeing humanity do that, and humanity's kind of destroying the world because we have the power to do that. But we also have the power to do the opposite. And I think when you realize that, when you're in a natural place that maybe you're not supposed to like completely dominate nature to the point where it's being destroyed. I don't know. You have like a different appreciation for it, and maybe you start thinking about things like water temperature and taking up garbage, and
Yeah.
just think about your place in nature a little bit. And I think when you're sitting there on the river and the water's going, the birds are going, and it's just you and the fish, it's like a moment of zen where you can really appreciate your place in nature and take that off the river. And that's why we say the rivers need more friends. That's why we're not scared to like name rivers we fish, because we think when people go have these experiences, they're going to leave with a new appreciation, and maybe
Yeah.
they're going to think, I should do something about not, maybe I shouldn't use this single-use plastic. Maybe I shouldn't,
Yeah.
whatever.
I think it definitely encourages more people to be kind of active stewards for
Yeah.
that river, and like, just back to like learning about the rivers and stuff. It's kind of interesting, like hanging out with you guys and like the whole community here. It's fun, like learning about that ecosystem that like I would never have really known about, and like the interconnectivity of all the different species, and how like certain things are indicator species of clean water, or the brook trout situation is like cold clear water has to be clean. If you don't see the brook trout, there's a reason. You don't see green drakes, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And kind of like passing that knowledge on to people, I think is really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Once you see the connections between degradation and like
Yeah, yeah.
humanity, you're like, oh, the green drakes aren't around because of us. That's like
Totally.
doesn't
Yeah.
seem like a good thing.
Yeah.
No, and it's like even like on the Humber, like I take my daughter down there all the time, and it's like you'll look and see things, and it's like, well, the fish aren't here because this is happening, or like this
Yeah.
is happening here. You see, just kind of like taking an opportunity for her to explore that ecosystem, and be like, okay, well, here's this minnows, like showing like
Yeah.
it's not all bad, but kind of like instilling that appreciation for this ecosystem instead of just being like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just a river. People see the
Life,
Humber,
yeah.
and they're just like, oh, whatever, it's just a dirty river. But then when you get down there and look close, you realize there's there's like salmon, steelhead, there's carp, there's bass, there's all
Yeah.
it's a
There's
massive
deer, there's
ecosystem.
birds,
There's eagles.
like-
There's the golden eagles fly above the Humber River.
Yelma, that's such a good point. People are like, you're fishing the Humber? It's like,
Yeah.
do you understand that river is amazing? And
Yeah.
it's still holding on, like it's doing everything
Yeah,
it
yeah.
can to have a steelhead run.
right
Yep.
in
And
Toronto.
it goes through Toronto. Like,
Yeah,
do
if
you
you
know
learn
what
about like
that
the history of
means?
the Humber is super interesting. The
Yeah.
indigenous communities that lived along the banks and stuff. It's really fascinating to learn about all that.
You know what?
Yeah, so
I think it's time we do a Humber River episode.
I think so
Done.
too.
Anyway, Jim, thanks for your
thanks for the question.
question. And also, Jim, a little extra shout out. Thanks for coming to our events.
Yeah, Jim,
You're always
love you.
supporting and
Need the big
definitely
net at the
appreciate it.
Humber. Always
It
fill
means
me.
everything.
Fill mine with
Yeah,
trash.
get the
Oh,
shopping carts out of
That's
there.
Yeah.
I think you need like a tow rope.
Shout out to Jim. Okay, do we want to talk maybe a little bit about just the summer quickly? Because we're already
Definitely.
at 42 minutes.
Summer
I mean,
recap.
We're
Here we go.
ripping. So maybe let's just touch on the summer. Obviously, we went to Elk Lake. That was a blast. But
Yeah.
and then we went to the East Coast, and you guys had a blast. And there was all kinds of stuff going on. We got a new boat, which we're gonna name here in a second because we've crowdsourced the name. But maybe we just talk about Marmac really quick because you guys just got back from Marmac, Aldo and
Yeah, yeah,
Niles.
Yeah.
Marmac Lodge with Demisha and Jason. Around our left
all those
world. You guys were
drinking.
fishing up north, and
Yeah. Long
How was
drive.
it?
It was great. It was great. I mean, challenging weather.
highlights.
Highlights.
yeah, because we're gonna do a shit. We'll do a full.
We'll do a whole show, yeah.
full show about this.
Yeah. So let's do a quick
Okay.
30-second recap.
Real
12-hour
quick.
drive to White River.
Real quick,
Yeah.
Marmac Lodge on Esnoggy Lake. Esnoggy
Yeah.
Lake is the same lake that has Lodge 88. So Adis
Yeah.
and I had been in there before. Demisha
Yeah.
has been chatting with Debbie, the owner of Marmac, for the past couple of years, year and a half, and they put together this trip. Demisha calls me and I just, hey, can you do the photo video? Sure, no problem. You guys couldn't make it. Too bad. Whatever. So sad. We're like, fuck it, we're going. Adis.
It's a whirlwind here.
Whoa.
So jump in the car, 4 a.m., drive 12 hours to White River, go to the weird
It's a long
bar.
drive, eh?
It's a long drive. It's very pretty once you get into the
It's
Superior
12
Coast.
hours.
Yeah, man, to White River.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
With we stopped a lot.
but also like Ace just said, like that Lake Superior drive after you get north of Sault Ste. Marie
It's
is
great.
unreal.
Yeah, it's super nice.
Because it's like you said it's very tropical-esque looking water, right? Like very
Yeah.
turquoise. And,
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
like
you have these like dramatic cliffs.
yeah,
turquoise.
it reminds me of the Sea to Sky Highway. That's it. If anyone's driven there, like that's what it reminds me.
oh
of.
yeah, it's kind of like that. It's that like
Well,
it's
kinda
it's
open
wild,
and-
man. It's like,
Yeah.
where am I?
You're going up huge hills, like you're seeing like
Wow.
the coastline's massive. Lake Superior is massive.
yeah.
Big cliffs, like it's gorgeous.
It does kind of seem like maybe it's just me. I don't know, like an underappreciated.
Oh, it's fine.
I haven't even been there.
I mean,
and
it's
I love
far.
Ontario.
Yeah.
yeah.
And but yeah, anybody if I mean I hope everybody who lives in the Sioux gets, takes the hour drive, enjoys that because oh man, is it nice.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were up there for how many days?
Oh, it was a whirlwind, brother.
3 days. 3 days.
3
sort
days.
of.
So you flew
2 days
in
of driving.
Fishing was good.
We drove.
and-
Yeah, we drove
Beautiful.
in. Went to our favorite little bar in White River. There's only
What's it
one.
called?
The
I
White
don't know.
River Bar and Grill, brother.
Nice.
We gotta
Shout
check
to
out that
them.
other spot next time.
There's another spot.
There's
Yeah,
a
there's like a-
restaurant
there-
in a hotel.
Yeah, we're gonna
Oh,
stay
okay.
there next time.
We'll stay at the other hotel. But yeah, we stayed there. Flew White River Air.
Mhm.
Our flight was supposed to be at 7 in the morning, but with thick fog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to lodge till 3 p.m.
Bit of a delay.
Okay.
Delay.
But you can't do anything about it, right? Because it's like the pilots are flying by sight a lot of the time. They're looking, you're not high up. We like took off, got over the hills. Nope. Turns around, banks hard, turns back, we land. Demisha's poor partner Jason thought he's not great with flying. He thought we were there. We're like, no, buddy, we're just back at the airstrip.
Oh God, did a whole loop. Yeah. He's like, no.
The team of White
Yeah.
River Air is awesome. The
Yeah,
lounge
yeah.
they
Super
have, it's it's like a
Nice
fun
pool
little
table,
waiting room.
coffee, little
Yeah.
TVs,
Oh,
every
sick.
fishing
sick.
magazines. Yeah,
They gave us
super
a,
cool.
they gave Demisha a spin rod and was like, "Well, just start casting off the dock."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You know,
We finally get there. We're on the water by what, like 3:30?
4 ish.
Yeah, and just beeline it out to I don't know where we went.
Cedar strip boats.
Yep.
Cedar
20
strip
horse-
boats.
20
The lodge
horse-
is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
Super
it's
nice.
really
Great
well-
accommodation.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get too in depth because I know we're gonna do
No,
a full
for
cast
sure.
about this. But
Of course.
I think what was really cool, and of course, Demisha and Jason will join us on that podcast. But having them not on here right now, I'd say
Yeah.
what was really cool was we were talking about our first time on a float plane trip, watching someone else go through like Jason was like, this is a huge bucket list thing for me. Like I've always
Yeah,
wanted to do a fly-in trip to a fishing lodge, and we were like, so watching how excited they were. And I'm not saying I don't get excited more. I obviously get excited, but when you've got the camera in your hand and you've got
Yeah.
a whole other list of things in your head,
You're a bit separated
sometimes
with
you're
like
just
when you're
like
shooting.
you're just like
Mhm.
but then as you watch them,
Become separated.
taking pictures on their phone or just being like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 because it is especially.
It's awesome.
And when you're there
Yeah.
for 48 hours, it's even more like
Yeah.
that because it's like
Yeah.
the lodge,
Just a
the boats,
whirlwind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like taking their
Everything
time
fast.
checking in. We're like, no, we gotta go build
Yeah.
the rods. We're going now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're like, we don't have a lot of time here.
time. We
We
got
have to
And-
fish immediately.
And we did a shore lunch. We had an awesome guide, Alex, put us onto a lot of walleye. And we didn't just fly fish. We jigged. Walleye were deep, so we jigged up some walleye for a shore lunch. Neither Jason or Demisha had ever had a shore lunch before.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
great.
It's great.
And
Having,
Is that where you
Big
stopped? I
Papa-
was like,
well, I don't know.
That's it.
it's a cliffhanger because we're
Yeah.
doing. We're gonna
I
do
don't know
a-
what's gonna happen.
Well, and
We're
Big
doing a show
Papa
about
put
this.
it. Big Papa put him in the boat. Adis was putting in
Hey, man.
work.
Yeah.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta
Fish.
do.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like it was awesome and a nice way to kind of end off the summer season. I mean, I know we've got a heat wave this week and it's like hotter than it was in July. But anyways,
my God, yeah.
I will say
Insane.
a micro spoiler. Debbie has invited all of us to the lodge
no,
Ooh,
That is a spoiler.
to Marmac.
to Marmac.
Well, we know what we're doing in the spring.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
definitely spring.
I like the sound of that because we have the four of us. Well, we did Elk Lake, but
No,
yeah, that's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so
one.
look forward to that. That's going to be a
we got the
2024 thing.
spots.
I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, well, let's just maybe name the boat and then
Get into some
factor fishing and then
fish
trivia.
items.
Naming the boat. So let's first of all talk about that. We got a boat this summer.
Yeah, actually, it's a cool.
Green.
It's a cool Ontario connection.
Yep.
A listener of ours messaged us and was like, "Hey, I'm in Thunder Bay. I bought this NRS raft with fly fishing frame. Unfortunately, the rivers aren't really suited for it.
Yeah.
Can you help me? Put the word out that I'm selling it."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Well, well, how much you want for it?" And we talked to our good pal Nick Kennedy, who of course owns Third Place, which is special to us because that's the space we do all our fundraisers. in.
Sotos. Yep.
And Nick's become also obsessed with fly fishing, and that's pretty cool. And Nick and I were just chatting, and he was like, "Well, I'll go 50-50 on it with you." And so we ended up buying the boat. So this is a boat
did
from
indeed.
Thunder Bay.
And it's green
Mm-hmm.
and it's mean.
and it's
and
a raft.
fish catching machine.
It is a fish catching machine.
And we
Eventually, I think,
crowdsourced the name.
sometimes.
We asked all of you on
Sometimes.
Instagram to help us name the boat, and we got a whole bunch of submission. And
Mm-hmm.
although you just bang through some because we're
Yeah.
gonna pick what we want to name it right now.
Rapid
Now,
fire.
Of course,
Let's go.
the four of us have already decided which one we like, but on Friday. But let's rapid through these because there's some great ones.
Oh, there's
Thank
some,
you for
there's
submitting.
some good ones. But yeah, rapid fire. Bob Cajun, Angie Angelica, Orca,
Yep.
So Float. That came up a bunch.
So float came up a bunch, yeah.
Nick, of course, Kermit, because it's
Kermit,
green.
okay.
You know, our friend Susan, who we met out in Cape Breton, said we should name it Susan.
I actually love
I
that
kinda
too.
like.
I was thinking
Yeah,
about
it's good.
that.
Mitch, you
That's
said
good.
Jeremy, which boring. At
Susan's good.
the
Pinner
at
ate
Mer-
his grouch.
at Mercer Braden said, and I like this because it said the green drake.
Yeah, because it's green.
Not only because it's green, and obviously it's a mayfly, but also an homage to the Ottawa
Yeah.
days, because Mitch and I are from Ottawa. And I used
Green
to work
Drake's
at the
really
Green
good.
Drake. I used to work at Green Drake Outfitters.
Awesome name idea. It's an awesome idea.
Pinner, you're too late. Pinner says
Grouch
Grouch,
is good, though.
but Grouch is good. Rhett says the green, mean green stream machine. Ben,
Yep.
of course, your brother
Nice,
Mitch
Rhett.
said Anita Towel.
Because the boat's wet. Yeah,
Mhm.
nice Ben.
Boats get
Very
wet,
nice.
yeah.
The
Very
River
clever.
Mint, Da Boat, Fly
River
McFly
Mint.
Face,
River Mint's
Green
nice.
Bean, the SoFly Stream Deucer.
Yeah.
Stream deucer.
It's fun. It's fun looking at these, you know. And then
Yep.
our good pal
Thanks,
Mitchell
Ken
Roberts.
Yo, man, the boys.
Mitchell
Yeah,
Roberts,
Mitchell's
who also joined us in Cape Breton
Yeah.
for some salmon fishing. Rapid fired their own Woolly Bugger, Green Machine. I like Green Machine. Mitchie's
Machine's good.
Fishy Float Boat, very on
Yeah.
brand.
That's pretty good too.
Drifty McDrift Face, Floaty McFloat Face, Eddie.
Classic.
Actually, Eddie's pretty good.
Eddie's not
Yeah.
bad.
I
Drag
like Susan still, but
drag filled drift, downstream
Hmm.
mend.
Yeah.
Okay, and then because we
names.
put it on Instagram stories, we had a bunch of replies to those. So these are the last of them.
yeah, we had Nick Roman with the Green Bastard, which of course is Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys wrestling persona. Great name, and the logo would just be a duct tape GB, so we could really pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be good.
I love that one.
I really
I don't know.
should
You guys don't seem excited about that one. I think
Nope.
No, I think it's good. I just don't know if we can call our boat the Green Bastard.
right, a little too greasy. Hey, chef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but just like having the GB on the front would have
Yeah.
been
been
obviously
good.
been hilarious. Oh God, I can't find it. Or current
That's okay if you can't find them all. I mean, there's so many good ones, but there's one
Green Machine, but there was one that stood out.
that floated, that drifted on by us, and we had to wrestle it in. We had to hop on that name and fish from it because it's such a good name. And there's two variations of that name.
Yep.
But we're gonna pick the one we really think we should pick right now.
So the name was Tom Rosenfloater, and I misremembered it as Tom Floatzenbauer.
Floatzenbauer.
I laughed a lot when I saw that one. I was like,
Tom Rosenfloater, and we'll figure out who exactly said that name again. Suggested it. We've got it saved here, but I think that's the winner.
That's the
Tom.
one, yeah.
Tom.
oh, it's
Tom
for
Rosenfloater.
sure.
That's a
Now,
good
is it
one.
Rosenfloater or Floatzenbauer? I can't remember where we decided.
Well, Rosenfloater was the name that was suggested by one of
Tom
our,
Rosenfloater.
one of our listeners,
Floatzenbauer.
fans, whatever.
I mean, it's both are acceptable.
oh, here we go.
Rosenfloater.
At I
Floatzenbauer.
am Kevin Barnes. I'm gonna have to go on a limb here that your name is Kevin Barnes.
And you won.
And Kevin,
because
you won. We're gonna send you a prize pack because that's
stuff.
awesome.
A boat.
Tom Rosenfloater is the name of the boat.
Oh, I found a couple more. There was Bertha, the Donkey
Frankie.
Wagon, Toadmobile, So Raft, So Dry, and the Green Machine, and the Dirty Goat, which was funny. But
Dirty
we're
Goat.
gonna go with Tom Rosenfloater because
We got another vote for Susan. My friend Jody said Susan, but Tom Rosenfloater is the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
so
Susan's good.
congratulations.
Susan's a strong second.
Susan's good.
We'll send you
Yeah.
a little SoFly prize pack with some of our
Yeah.
merch.
Tom Rosenfloater. There you go. That's the name of the boat. It's
boat
the
is
dumbest name. It's the best name, and it's the winner. Shout out to Tom Rosenbauer, of course. Without you, we wouldn't have had this. So here's to you. All right, so there's some clapping sound effects, and let's get into Factor Fishy.
Go.
Yilma? Yilma's got 3 Factor Fishies, which is good. We haven't done Factor Fishy in a
God.
while.
And everybody, there's more people
Here comes the
following,
laughs.
following along, by the way. 13,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
And,
cheating.
feel free to
Factor Fishy it
Factor
up.
Fishy with us. So obviously Factor Fishy. Oh, wait, we didn't do the song.
Factor
Let me just pull it up here.
Fishy.
With Yilma.
That's me, and then you say that's me.
And then you say that's me, Yilma. You have to say that's
But he's
me.
going to pull
No,
it
I
up
know.
and
I
then
was just
we'll
pulling
take
it up. You know,
away.
I
'Cause
get,
Aldo,
I can't do
gotta
2
sing
things
that
at
part.
once. Okay, go do it again.
All right, Yilma, Aldo, take it away.
Fact or Fishy.
With Yilma.
With- Oh.
Oh, my
God, here we go. Good Lord.
Okay,
Well,
well,
I can't,
one more
Okay,
time.
One more time.
All right.
Fact
Okay, here we go.
or Fishy.
With Yilma.
That's me.
Yay. Okay, a little delayed, but we got there. We
Little dramatic pause.
All right, Yilma, 3
Dramatic
Factor
pause. I
Fishies.
forgot again.
Let's
Okay.
This, of course, is where, if people are new to this concept, Yilma says a story that we can barely understand, and then we have to realize that, or guess if it's true or false, a.k.a.
fact being true, fishy
or
being false.
Fishy. So
Yeah.
please, in the comment section,
Play along.
Play along. Go,
Let's
buddy.
see if we can.
got
Oh,
this.
right.
We can win.
So
Here we go. Here we go.
There's. Oh, here we go. Adis is gonna. There's 3 here, and the
Okay.
first one I'm calling SUP. Stand up, paddleboard. So, as we know, we're all anglers. We love to troll. We love to, relax
Troll.
in the sun.
Troll, like fishing troll.
Yeah, fishing troll.
Ken already said fishy.
Just immediately.
Okay. But have you ever trolled on a SUP before? Apparently, all
Yes.
those had. But this
Yeah.
gentleman by the name of Mr. McKenzie,
Mr. McKenzie.
yeah,
Right. I remember the story now.
he decided to not bring his
Mr.
rod though, and I'm adding this back into the story. It's a little different. He decided to
Yeah, not like
string
Mark
up-
McKenzie or something. Mr.
Okay,
McKenzie.
can I finish the story?
Sorry, Yilma.
sorry, it's just
Christ.
funny.
People
Mr.
are-
It's just funny,
Mr.
Yilma. I just like
McKenzie's
Mr.
funny.
McKenzie. It's just funny you didn't give him a first name.
Well,
Yilma.
I'm not giving anything. These are all
Right.
legit stories. So he decided to string up 40 feet of mono, the back of his SUP, and let it hang with a lure at the end. He's been at this lake for a little bit now. He knows there's, it's only largemouth bass, nothing crazy. So,
Of course.
he's not worried about something toppling him over or anything like that.
Yep.
So after 15 minutes of paddling, he felt a tug, and then another tug, and then bam! The last tug pulled the SUP away from him, leaving him to fend for himself while he watched the SUP gradually leave his eyes and eventually being submerged underwater, never to be seen again.
Fish.
Never?
Fact or fishy?
So,
Recap.
Yeah,
this.
Mitch, you
paddleboarding.
got the recap there on this one?
Guy's paddleboarding.
Yep. Troll.
He's got 40 feet of line
Yeah.
attached to the board
Mm-hmm.
and a lure, and he's paddleboarding, and he catches a fish, and the fish pulls the board under the water, and then he falls off. Factor
Correct.
fishy. It's fishy for sure.
Fishy AF.
And I actually can't remember the answer.
I
I'm
also
not even
cannot
joking.
remember the answer, but I'm going to go with fishy because, why would it never see Pinner's saying fishy AF? I agree
For
with
sure.
you,
This-
Pinner.
This is some,
Jody
this-
Martin, that is so damn fishy. Justin, fishy.
Fishy. Also, what the guy's plan is to just hand bomb the fish in.
That's a
Like
terrible
it's
plan.
not attached to a reel, nothing.
You know what?
And he's gonna.
I've, s-
Well, okay, and who hasn't?
this is
trolled
very
on us?
plausible. This is a
It
plausible
wasn't
story.
plausible.
You've given us
This
stories
is-
in the
this is
past
factor
that were
fishy, not
very
factor
fishy,
plausible.
and they were fact. So
Factor
don't-
factor plausible.
But we think it's fishy. Everybody here thinks it's fishy.
Well,
Justin
it is
says it's fishy.
not fact. It's fishy.
Nice.
Yes.
Right. Nice.
Everybody
Good
wins.
job, everybody. Good
Everybody
job,
gets a boat.
Pinner, Jody, Justin, and Ken, I guess. With
hate
the-
you, Pinner.
Ken called it from the
premonition.
first word.
Ken's like, fuck this.
Ken knows.
Dan's
I'll
asking,
swear.
why is Ken Dews not on the 150th episode? We would never get through it because we'd be in stitches. Jim
Yeah,
saying
we-
fishy. Jim, you're right as well.
Yeah, Jim, you're right.
All right.
Yelma, take us to number 2, baby.
Okay,
go.
Jim. Now let's see if you can get this one.
Oh, geez.
This one I'm calling Steely for the win.
Okay.
probably because it's a story about a steelhead. Okay. So in 1970 specifically, father and son were fishing in Seattle for steelhead.
Specific.
Not naming the
Specifically.
river, just leaving that out of the story.
Specifically.
Specifically, of course.
The son cast it out. He let
and Pacifically.
he let his spinner sink to the bottom. As he was starting to reel in, he felt a huge tug. They both held onto this fish from the morning until 10 p.m. that night. Till this day, fighting it. Till this day, it has been recorded as the record-holding steelhead at 42 pounds, 2 ounces. Factor fishing.
How do they weigh it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. That fish
What do you mean?
is
They had
for
st-
sure
it's only
dead.
That's right.
Yes,
Yes,
it's
it was.
dead.
Yes, it was for sure. Because they fought it for how long? 10 hours, you said?
Until 10 p.m. I'm not sure when they
when
started.
did they
You said
start?
morning until 10 p.m. So
Listen, you
Yeah.
can't ask any more
So a
questions.
full day. So like the better part of a day. Like they,
Yeah,
they
so minimum
fought this
10
thing from
hours.
morning to night.
Fly fishing Matt
Exactly.
is saying fact. I'm gonna also go ahead and say fact. Jim's saying fishy. It does sound fishy
Yeah, it does.
because
But
that's a
well, fact.
long time to fight a steelhead.
Yeah,
It should
even
be
42
factor
pounds.
unethical.
Even 42 pounds, surely after an hour.
It would
Yeah.
die
Imagine
and
a
you just drag it
42-pound
in.
steelhead.
Just
oh my
go
god.
pick it
No.
up.
Crazy. Dan,
I'm gonna say
Dan
fishy.
says
Fact.
fact. So wait,
Mitch says fishy.
Mitch, you're fishy?
Yep. Facty. Facty.
Just says facty, unfortunately. I like facty.
Facty.
Facty
Fishy
or fishy.
facty.
Okay, Ilma. We've
is
got
it?
a couple answers in here. Ken is shamelessly promoting himself on episode 44. To everybody.
What was it, Yoma? Fact or
It
fishy?
is fact.
Oh,
That's fact?
That's fact. yeah.
smokes.
I
So
got
did
it from
they-
our Josh the Flyfish book.
What?
Josh the Flyfish book. Yeah,
Josh
of
the
course.
Flyfish.
And you said it was
Yeah,
a
well
world
done.
record?
Check it out.
Okay,
Mitch.
is it-
You didn't say. Did you say world record?
Josh,
Yoma, or
I
no?
mean,
At the
yeah,
time of that
why did
book
you give
being
him that
published?
book?
At the time of the book, yeah.
No, you're right. I'm seeing it.
Well,
here.
you know
Like,
what? I've got another.
42 pounds.
Really?
Yeah. In Seattle.
They fought this thing for an entire day.
Yeah.
How
Why?
did they get? So they landed it. I'm assuming if they
Yeah.
weighed it.
Why did
Yeah,
they fight it for a whole
it's
day?
dead. It's probably up somewhere.
Well, you know, because I just typed in world, not to burst anybody's bubble, but I typed in world record steelhead in a Google.com. And
What?
the current IGFA all tackle
.com.
world record steelhead was caught while salmon trolling in the salt.
I see that, but that's from 1954.
So maybe this one's 1970.
That's 36 pound. Yeah. Then if you keep scrolling down, because I did the same thing, brother. There's other ones. But
Oh,
anyways,
10
that's-
mind-blowing giant steelhead. Oh, that's my problem.
That's crazy. I actually thought that one was fishy, but okay. Wow. There you go.
There you go.
Seattle.
Yeah.
What do you know?
I told you.
That's
The
what
only
Frank
part
does.
Coffee?
that could be a little wrong is the 10 p.m. thing. I think they
Space
got to
Needle.
the dock at 10 p.m., but it was still
Okay,
a long
okay.
fight.
Yeah, that'd be a wildly long fight.
They
Jody-
either fought
Jody-
it for 10 hours or they got there at 10. I don't know.
Jody Martin says that whole book is fishy.
It is. There's something about that book.
They're going to have to burn that book.
Well, Yelma, what's the third factor fishy?
Well, it's
then?
awesome.
Okay.
Matt heard about that story already. That's cool. All right.
Oh,
Of course.
Yeah.
I guess
wow.
hearing about the world record
course
steelhead
Matt
isn't
did.
uncommon.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. Okay.
Okay, Yelma, take
the
it away.
last one that Matt is Matt Martin.
Well, Matt Martin is on
Uh,
this as well, but then there's fly fishing.
Fly fishing
Matt.
Matt.
Oh,
Yeah,
fly
so
fishing Matt.
Don't get
Well,
them confused.
let's see if they know if they can
Yeah.
if they know this story.
Let's hear it.
This is a Trini story, a Trinidadian story. I'm calling it Trini to the bonefish, but not really because it's not about a bonefish. I mean, the
it'd be
fish is
great
kind
if
of
it was.
bony. but-
Certainly a confusing title, but that's
yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
I love it.
So
Ken fishy.
Ken saying fishy.
He's got instincts, man.
he's
Who
got
knows
instincts. Yeah. Well, he might be wrong. Have you ever fished in the streets before?
right.
Yes.
No,
Right.
I haven't.
Can you say it in the accent?
That's the best thing.
Can you?
I don't
Have you
know if
ever
I
fished in
could
the
do
streets?
it.
Can we call your mom and have her say
Yeah.
that line? Because I can't
on.
obviously
Great
say
line. It's a great line.
it. And,
Well,
I-
yeah, I gotta put it on a T-shirt.
don't know.
Well, in Trinidad you can. So during the main flood months, so like now till about like November, it is crazy floods. Like the
Right.
the flood goes into my aunt's house. You know, it's in the corridor. It's like it's crazy.
for everybody who doesn't
so-
know, Yilma's from Trinidad originally, and so
Yeah.
is Sam.
Correct.
So what happens is obviously the rivers get blown out, and
Yeah.
from this, there's a fish called cascadoo, and these fish start to get flooded into the streets, and that is the only time You're able to see them and get them, and they make the best curry stew, Cascadoo stew, in the
Casca
entire
stew.
Casca stew.
Casca
Casca
stew in the
stew.
entire world. My grandmother used to make it, and it is fantastic. But
Cascadoo is a really cool name of a fish.
it is.
It
And
is.
is
Also-
you said it's got
that's
an
the only way you can
exoskeleton.
catch this fish.
And
You said it's like
fishy.
armored.
Factor
It's an
fish.
armored
It's
fish,
armored
right?
fish. It is like an exoskeleton. Looks like a catfish
really
with like
cool.
I
from
like
medieval
this-
times.
I like this factor
double
fishy
skeleton.
because like this is also mildly educational. I feel like you
Yeah.
should work that into your factor fishies more. Like I'd
Education,
never
yeah.
heard of this fish before.
Mild education.
Yeah.
Not
I
too
never
much.
heard of
Mild
it. You say it's your
education.
favorite eating fish. Like you say, it's delicious.
It's delicious.
Well, if I can
Like, I've
say
never
one
even
thing
heard of
about
Cascadoo.
like the food in Tobago,
Wavy.
it's
It's delicious.
unreal. That
Oh, man.
probably is the best food I've had on one of our trips, which is saying something because we've had some really good food.
And I cook
Okay, well, let
food
me-
too.
Let me kind
Not
of
the one,
recap.
not the food you cooked.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So the rivers flood,
Yep.
and the Cascadoo come into the streets, and you can fly fish or fish for them in the streets and catch them, but you can't catch these fish in the rivers.
fish
the
in
only
the
time
streets,
you can catch
brother.
them
Only time.
is in the streets.
Yeah.
So that's the factor fishy.
So I
That's the
remember the
factor
answer to
fish.
this, which is I'm not going to say because I remember, but remember everybody, you can't catch them in the river. You can only catch them in the street. Cascadoo,
only in
armored
the street.
fish.
I'm saying fishy.
Factor fishy.
Is this fact?
What are people saying?
I'm saying fishy. Let's just wait a few seconds for some answers.
All
here.
saying fishy. What are you saying?
Fishy.
Nice.
I don't trust anyone.
It's not that these fish don't exist. It's that the only
course.
time you can catch them is when they're swimming down Main Street.
Which
Yeah.
is
Which is
a plausible
Sure, it's
thing. You know, when you
plausible.
think about it, like, oh yeah, that's so weird that you can only catch
Yoma,
them in
what
there.
were the fish called? Because we
exposed.
went
Cascadoo.
to a freshwater river and
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up.
Facty, Justin said.
and
look it up
we
here.
Oh.
you know.
Facts, fishy.
and we
Okay,
saw
we
some
got
pretty
facts
crazy
and
looking
fishy.
fish. Oh, we got it. I'm just
Two facts, two fishies,
three facts.
Okay.
3 facts. I mean,
Four
it does
facts.
sound
Oh
it
my
does sound
gosh.
facty for sure because it's
Oh,
almost
they
like,
were-
Specifics.
yeah.
Very specific.
Jody says fact. What is it, Yilma? Fact or fishy? Huh?
Hit us.
It is fishy.
Fishy.
There is
You
a
can
fish
catch
on
it.
Cascadoo, but you can catch
Oh, they
it at
exist.
any time. And you're in
I
the
always,
river.
I always love this segment, fact or fishy. When things are fishy, it's sort of just disappointing. When they're fact, it's kind of exciting. You know?
So the fish exists, but
Really
you can
doesn't-
catch them. Obviously, you can catch them in the river. That's it. Like
Of course.
Yeah.
If a fish exists in a body of water, someone knows how to catch
It was
it.
a bit of an
Exactly.
odd factor fishy, but I liked it because it's like a fun. I learned a lot. I
There's
learned a
this
lot on
twist.
this.
I like that one too.
Matt Martin said,
Cascadoo.
"Damn you, Yilma."
Got him.
Got
I
him.
love that.
A bit of an
Yeah,
odd question, but
It was convincing, Dan.
But,
Yilma, you
See,
told
the
that one
educational
good.
aspect makes it confusing.
it is
I
cool.
think a
They're
lot of-
crazy looking fish. Yilma, how do you spell that?
C-A. Here, let me see if I got it right. C-A-S-K. No, C-A-S-C-A-D-O-O.
Cascadoo.
D.
Use it in a sentence.
Yeah.
You can only catch Cascadoo in the streets.
It's really cool, man. Cascadoo curry.
Have
yeah.
you ever
That's
fished
really
in the
cool.
streets? Does need to be a T-shirt.
Yes.
Also, we could just call Prince and get him to say that because that would be pretty awesome too.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
very ominous, like, yeah,
Come on, man.
sentence.
There we go.
Um,
Say it. Say
No,
it.
that's the
I love
the
it.
Bahamian
Bahamian?
accent. Yeah.
Well, still.
That's
Okay, well,
that's
here. Now we've got Factor Fishy wrapped up. Why don't we just rip through this trivia and then.
Oh yeah, Mitchie's
and
got
then-
some Mitchie's Fishies.
I have some.
You got some
yeah,
Mitchie Fishy
150.
trivia?
I do. I have episode 150 trivia,
Wow.
and these trivia. There's 5 questions total.
Okay.
And the trivia are sort of based off of celebrating 150 episodes. I was about to say years of SoFly. 150 episodes of
150
SoFly. So there's a total of 150 points for this trivia. Now,
Oh,
hear me out
what?
here.
There's points now? Oh my
There's
God.
points, and
Are they, what are they
and,
redeemable for?
they're redeemable for
You said there's 5 questions,
Kisses?
5 questions, 150 points.
so 30
Do we
points
need
a
pen-
question.
No. The first 3 questions are each worth 1 point.
Oh,
The fourth
Jesus.
question, you can get a total of 2 points. And the last question is worth 145 points.
Do I need pen and paper for this?
My brain just I don't know what's going on anymore.
A lot of numbers.
You just keep track, okay? And I'm gonna tell you if you won, if you got it right or not. And we're gonna, at the end of this, whoever wins, I'm gonna give them something from this room.
Really?
Yep. My computer.
guitar.
Something from my
I'll
room.
buy one of you a beer.
the litter
I'll buy one
box?
of you a beer. Here we go. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Trivia.
For the 14
Yeah.
people following along, can they win something?
Sure. Yeah. 100%.
You just
Yeah.
gotta come over here.
How do we know they're not lying though?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
We can Google it.
Oh.
They can Google it.
Oh, can they?
I mean, we can Google it too.
Yes, but you guys can't. It's the
Honor
system.
system.
Okay, well, forget it. We'll
Go.
just do the trivia then.
Ready? Here we
No
go.
one's winning
150.
anything.
I trust Matt Martin. I don't trust.
Okay,
Ken
well,
Booth.
whoever wins, we'll send you like a.
hail.
When we see you, we'll give you some chum stuff. Okay, here we go. 150 trivia. So the first question, SoFly, of course, as we said, was birthed at the intersection of Church and Richmond here in Toronto at an advertising agency which is now gone called One Advertising. Right, Yelma? Of course, many of the meetings we had early on to discuss the project were taken at McVeigh's Pub at the same intersection. In fact, the name SoFly, as we said earlier, was decided upon at that very pub. The question here is, how old is McVeigh's? How old is that pub? But I've got 4 choices.
Multiple
because I know
choice.
it's kind of-
Nice.
yes, multiple
Oh
choice
my
trivia. So is it 30 years old?
No.
Is it 120 years old?
Yes.
Is it 22 years old?
Yes.
Is it 61 years old?
Yes.
And I will take the answers now.
The
61.
122.
Yelma?
61.
And the answer is,
Wait,
of course.
wait. People are answering.
I know, I'm just looking. Fly Fishing Matt said 120. Ken said 61. I don't trust Ken at all. He's 100%
Hopefully everybody knows that
gonna
Ken is
Google
your
stuff.
dad. That's why we're ripping
Ken is my
into it.
dad. He's going to Google stuff. Oh, now he's saying 122, which was not even an option.
I thought
Can
you
I
said
change my answer to
122.
69?
No, 120.
Or just 120.
120.
120.
120.
Oh,
So the answers are 30 years, 120 years, 22 years, or 61 years. How old is
60.
McVeigh's?
It's an
61.
old place.
The pub where SoFly.
Yeah. Can I change my answer? I'm going for 120. Fuck it.
Sure. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and see the answer here right now. The answer is 61.
Oh no!
It's not quite as old as you think. McVeigh's
I'm
Pub is
an-
61 years old.
Fucking nub.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's a classic Irish bar.
Well,
founded
Dan
in
and Jody,
many craft beers and whiskeys.
If we
pub,
see you on the river,
folks, man.
we'll give you,
Give you a
Yeah.
little kiss.
100%. Also, another fact about McVeigh's, they actually refused to sell to condo developers recently because a condo was going up. So it's just being built around the bar. So when you
Nice.
see it, it actually looks kind of ridiculous. But shout out to them. Historic buildings, screw condos.
Are they? Is
okay,
it a
next.
historic building?
I said 61 first.
Well, it's definitely older than the buildings that are going up.
Yeah.
Okay. 61 is the first answer. Now, question 2. So if you got that, you have 1 point. Question 2. The first trip we ever took together was Elk Lake. Well, of course, Temagami, we said, but Elk Lake was the first with us. So Elk Lake, Ontario is a small town located in a vast region of untamed Ontario wilderness. The town of Elk Lake is, of course, near Elk Lake Wilderness Resort, which is where our first trip was together. And you can see our most recent video there on our YouTube,
Nice.
which we just released. A little plug there. But I want to know, what is the population of the Elk Lake area as of 2016? Okay, and there's multiple choice here again. What is the population of Elk Lake? Is it 643 people, 211 people, 420 people,
Huh.
780 people? The Elk Lake
780.
population as of 2016.
So
780.
pre-pandemic,
600.
that is important.
Yeah.
That's important.
The 6.
Before 2016, at 2016, the population was taken, and what was
Give
it?
us those numbers.
643,
643.
211, 420, or 780?
643.
Okay, I just locked in at 643. All those at 780. Jody's at 211. 211. Got some good answers trickling.
Nice,
in.
Dan.
780. Nice, Dan. Dan's taking the
420.
Dan's taking that one. I love it. Excellent. Okay,
Matt,
okay.
$1. All right.
$1. Totally understand how to
Tanner,
play the
that's
game.
not even.
Rest in peace.
But,
888.
888
That's
is not
even-
an answer, but maybe he's right. Maybe it's a
We're
trick
getting
question,
off
and the
course.
answer wasn't.
Oh, God.
All right, here's the
643.
answer.
643.
Oh,
You didn't
shit.
ask
Here's
me.
the
Am I
answer.
still here?
Yep, 643. Okay, well, we've got one person who gave the right answer. It is 420.
Oh,
Which is why I included that question and answer, because I was like, wait, what?
Nice.
The population
Ken.
of Elk Lake is 420.
Cannon.
Isn't that so sick?
Okay, well, Dan's 2
Uh,
for 2 here.
James
the way.
Municipality in Ontario is 420. Dan's 2 for 2. If you got that one right, that was worth 1 point.
Okay.
On to the next question.
Ken also
Number
said
3.
420. But I don't think because he actually thought that.
I think
No.
Ken said 420 after we said it.
But he's also he's cheating for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
After Elk Lake, of course, the SoFly crew, that's us, took an epic trip to the Attawapiskat River north of Hearst, Ontario. And, of course, on that heroic 10-hour journey from Toronto, we drove through a special tiny northern Ontario town known as Moonbeam. Years later, when we traveled to Esnagami Lodge, we passed by and took a picture of that town sign, which is, of course, a UFO. You can see that UFO
That's
in our
right.
Esnagami trip videos, which are live on YouTube.
Nice plug.
But why on earth? Why on earth is the town sign a UFO, anyways? I want to know. Why does Moonbeam feature a UFO as their town sign?
It's a
And
moon
now,
beam.
now, although no one actually knows for sure, the most widely accepted claim is one of these two options. Okay, the first one is early on, before the town was a town, a group of loggers were in the area. They were, hanging out after a night of logging, and one of the loggers went into the woods to go to the bathroom, and kind of went down a trail, and then all of a sudden saw this really bright light, and then passed out. Woke up, came to, he was all naked in the woods, came back to his tent, and he'd been missing for 17 days. Everybody thought he was dead. They even made him a little grave, which is kind of grim, isn't it? The man said, what had happened, and he said he was sucked up into the sky by a beam from the moon, and from then on they decided to call the town Moonbeam. Or perhaps the story goes something like this. Settlers were wandering through the forest in northern Ontario for quite some time, looking for a place to call home. They came to the area that is now Moonbeam and saw pillars of light streaming down from the night sky, and that's where they decided this is a good place to stake our camp. Of course, all this sounds really like alien and sort of strange, but some people assert now the pioneers are probably seeing the northern lights. The alien rumors, of course, blew up more in the 60s and 70s, and people kept seeing sightings of UFOs. Regardless of the truth, that name stuck, and Moonbeam was adopted, and of course now they have the alien kind of lore as their mascot. A or B?
B.
Which is true?
Yeah, I'm
Is
going
it
B.
called
I kind of like
Moonbeam?
B. I have a weird
Hard
feel,
B.
feeling it's probably A, but I'm gonna go B. Matt Martin saying option B.
The Moonbeam sign was awesome, though. Do you remember that? It's
It
so
was.
cool.
Also
Yeah.
featured very briefly in
That's
a
right.
Tragically Hip song.
Fly off of World Container, and it's a great track.
Ooh, Dan's going with A.
It's a cool place to go and see. It's very north.
We're getting a
Not
mix
much
of
up there.
oh
A and
cool.
Bs.
Those answers spell ABBA.
Whoa, that's cool.
Um,
We got
We're
A's, we got
We're
B's.
at Baba.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the answer because
Yep,
if you
go.
said B, you were right.
100 points.
Yay, we got
Yes.
one. Yay.
If you said B, you were right. Okay.
oh,
many
Dan,
points
your
do we got?
perfect streak is over.
Sorry, Dan. A was pretty convincing too, but I made that one up. That's what I kind of
Yeah.
imagined it was.
That'd be me if I was
Um,
drinking too much moonshine.
Oh,
Yeah.
You would see me for
That's
17
right.
days.
I love that.
I'm all
I love
naked. I passed out in the woods. I don't know what happened.
Moonbeam. All right. Here's number 4 and 5, and these next two are, as we do with these fishy trivia, are they're going to be kind of weight and fish-related questions. So since, of course, these early days exploring Northern Ontario, we've branched out far and wide and explored all over North America, as we said earlier, places we've always wanted to fish. Some of these destinations include Montana, Mexico, Tobago, British Columbia, Canada's East Coast, Florida, Texas, and even Indiana. Indiana and the White River. Remember the smallmouth bass fishery that was brought back to life by all the caring, attentive locals? We fished those smallmouth bass, of course, being guided by White River Guiding. Shout out to Jason. And we had a root and toot and good time. But the biggest bass that's been caught does not hail from Indiana. It comes from someplace else. I want to know where the biggest smallmouth bass ever caught was and how much it weighed. So this is each worth a point.
Oh, this
Where
happened
was
this
it
year.
caught?
Multiple
How
choice.
much did it weigh?
Didn't this happen
Alright,
this
ready?
year? Oh, wait,
Uh,
you're gonna list the things.
I don't know. Did it?
I don't know. Did it?
Whatever I found, don't think it was this year.
Hit us with the options there, chef.
But here we go. Here's the options. Okay, first one was it 10 pounds 5 ounces in Northern Ontario? Was it 9 pounds 7 ounces in South Carolina? Was it 11 pounds 5 ounces in Tennessee? Or 13 pounds 3 ounces in Alabama?
Shit.
Smallmouth?
You're gonna have to repeat that. I wasn't really
Alright.
listening.
It's smallmouth.
10
you said,
pounds?
right?
Smallmouth. What's the biggest smallmouth and where was it caught? 10 pounds in Northern Ontario. 9 pounds South Carolina. 11 pounds Tennessee. 13 pounds Alabama. Biggest smallmouth ever.
10 pounds, Northern Ontario.
Tennessee.
That's my guess.
Tennessee. Okay. So, okay, wait. Yelma, you're saying 10 pounds Northern Ontario?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ken. No.
I'm gonna go. Tennessee. I'm gonna go Tennessee,
Tennessee.
11 pounds. But I seem to remember something this year coming out that someone in Lake Erie caught a it was a
smallmouth?
record smallie, but maybe it was the Ontario record or the Canadian record. I'm pretty sure that happened this year. I'm looking it up.
I don't. Was that a smallmouth or wasn't that a brown or something, or a walleye or something like that? Okay, well we've got the answers trickling in. We've got Alabama here. We've got okay. Matt Martin knows what's up. Matt says a giant was caught in Erie. But yeah, that's the Ontario record. This is the world record I'm asking for.
Oh,
So the Ontario record was
so
caught in
the
Erie.
Ontario record, which is this Lake Erie fish, was caught in November 2022. A 16-year-old female, 10.15 pounds.
That's a big fish,
Dang.
man.
Holy
That's a huge fish.
A hefty
For a
gal.
smallie. So, but the world's biggest smallie ever recorded.
Okay,
10
yeah, I'm
pounds,
saying
Northern
I'm
Ontario.
Saying, yep.
Yeah, 9 pounds South Carolina, 11 pounds Tennessee, 13 pounds Alabama.
I'll go 11 pounds Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with
Everybody
Dan.
seems to be-
I'm just
Yuma?
siding with Dan because he's been.
I
around
said
so
I said
much.
Northern Ontario 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Hit it.
It's Tennessee, 11 pounds. 11 pounds, 5 ounces in Tennessee. And actually, yeah, Matt
Whoa.
Martin said Dale Hollow, which is it's like a, what's it called? Like a man-made lake or whatever.
Matt said it. Dale Hollow.
Matt said it. Dale Hollow.
Ken.
You knew Matt.
Ken,
knew.
you're silly.
Ken, you
That's a
didn't
big
grow up by
fish.
Lake
It's a
Erie, you
big fish.
son of a bitch.
That's a big fish, man. 11 pounds. 11 pounds. Yeah, he did. Ken did. He did.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying things.
There are bass in that lake, Kenneth. But yeah, okay. So if you got Tennessee and 11 pounds, you got you got the 2 points there. Okay, so the final question now
Oh, right,
is
the
worth
psychotic
145
numbering
points.
system here.
This is a big pointed question.
Look
It's
at
worth
that
145 points. So you're gonna want to get this one right.
145 points.
No, there's not 145 answers. There's just one answer worth a lot of points. So looking ahead to the future of SoFly, I think there's one very obvious destination that comes to mind. I want to say for all of us, and that place is Alaska. It's known as the last frontier. It's the largest U.S. state by area. It's home to incredible species of wild animals, including some really incredible fish populations, which make for some really incredible fishing opportunities. And it probably should be part of Canada, but it's a place that, in fact, we must go see, and we will search for grayling, and we will catch grayling. Hopefully big ones, but it doesn't really matter. You never know, though. Maybe we'll catch the world record even, Yelma. What do you think? Being the current world record of what weight? I want to know how much did the biggest grayling now for 145 points weigh ever caught? How much did it weigh? Here are your options: 5 pounds, 15 ounces; 7 pounds, 11 ounces; 4 pounds, 6 ounces; 22 pounds, 4 ounces.
4
I would-
pounds,
I'd
6
lo- I
ounces.
would love-
6 ounces.
I would love to think that there's a 22-pound grayling somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm
me
going
too.
7.
I'm doing
gonna go
4.
7.
7.
4?
4.
I'll do 7. I'm with Adis on this one.
Matt, what
Okay.
the fuck? What are you saying?
Okay.
I want to see what Matt
Reservoir, Matt. Yes, reservoir. Dale Hollow's a reservoir with massive smallmouth.
See,
in it 'cause there's
Justin
actually-
agrees with me.
There's a huge
Dan's at
amount
7.
of records there.
See.
Okay, so
Dan-
we got
Dan
Justin
knows.
saying 4 pounds, 6 ounces. We've got Dan and
Oh,
Matt.
fuck.
And
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a
everyone's
seven.
we got,
Oh,
we got
okay,
a lot of
now it's
7s
7.
happening right
Okay.
now.
Aldo, what'd you say?
I said 7.
7.
And
Me
I
and
said
me and
7.
Idis are both at 7.
Yelma, what'd you say?
I
How
said
big do you think this
4.
4, okay.
Yeah, graylings don't get that big. Shit.
Can you imagine a 22-pound grayling? I'll just give you that one right now.
Pinner.
Um,
Alaska, you boys need to pop on over to Newfoundland. And he's
Yeah, big
effing
time.
right about that one,
Yeah,
brother.
we definitely do. 100%.
We can do both in 1 year, Pinner.
Absolutely.
That's how planes work.
We can come on over to Newfoundland right after this.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, here we go. The biggest grayling ever caught was 5 pounds.
Oh, the first answer. A.
It was A.
Wow. That was the
it?
closest.
5 pound, 15 ounce.
Was that
grayling,
an
which-
answer? I thought you said 2 pounds. I thought you said 2 pounds, 7 pounds, 22 pounds, and 4 pounds.
Said
Sorry, brother,
5.
No, I said 5.
5, 7, 4,
I
27.
said 5.
I feel like this game is rigged.
Probably, but if you got that one right, you got 145 pounds.
Well,
And,
You got 145 pounds.
145 points rather. So deep in the fish pound talk, and that's it for the trivia. So if you won, just email us and we'll give you.
What do you
A
mean?
car,
One? I don't know.
you got a
Which one do you
small
guys?
can.
Do you guys keep track of your points?
I got 4 points. Or 3
I-
points.
No, I'm not. This is the weird.
You
I
got
didn't
4
keep track.
points.
I got 100 and
Idis, you got yourself a beer next time we hang out.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
I
I
got
on me.
I think
in
I got
half
six,
an hour.
I think I got
On me.
I think I got 420 points.
I think you might have too, which
got
is
69
great
points.
because this, of course, is our 150th episode, and yeah, I want to say, hey, rock and roll, boys, 150
Yeah.
episodes. Jeez.
I want to say, hey,
You know, why don't we just kind of roll this show out with some upcoming stuff? Aldo?
All right.
What do we got coming up?
okay.
What's up?
Well, 2 things. First thing, we, thanks everybody who replied to the boat, naming the boat thing.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to focus on more giveaways in this, and what we're going to do. Not that we've received any new ones yet, But if either on iTunes or YouTube or Spotify, if you could, does iTunes even exist, or is it just called Apple Music?
iTunes or Apple Music, you have to leave. Are you talking about the reviews?
Yeah.
Got to be a written review because we
Can't
have
be a written
podcasts.
review on Spotify?
They can't. They don't have them. They don't have
What?
written reviews. Yeah, you can just click stars. You can just click 5 stars, 1 star,
Stars
2
only.
stars.
Okay,
You
fine.
have to write a written one because we don't know your name. So you got to leave us a written review on the podcast, and then we'll know your name. We'll give you a prize.
Okay, so
next
if
year.
you can review us on Apple Music, iTunes, or whatever the hell it's
Yeah.
called these days, we will pick a monthly winner from those comments, reviews, sorry, and we'll send you a little prize back. We're gonna do that every month.
Yep.
We're not gonna do it this month because we didn't get
No.
any. But if you could, that would be great.
And if we did on Spotify, thank you so much. Like, we really appreciate
Yeah, I mean, please review us in other ways, but
Yeah.
if you want to win, you gotta do that. Upcoming things. Well, actually, in a week from yesterday, September 10th, Matt Martin's been in this chat.
Yeah.
But of course, he's leading the second Smooth River Academy, and this one's all about steelhead. They're going to be doing not only swinging techniques like spay rod, but they'll be covering indicator fishing and tactics for chasing steelhead on the single hand rod. There's if you want to head over to Matt's website, smoothriver.ca, smoothriverguiding.ca,
Smooth River Guiding.
smoothriverguiding.ca. You can sign up for that class.
Nope, smoothriver.ca.
Smoothriver.ca. Here we go. Smoothriver.ca. Smoothriver.ca.
We're live.
Smoothriver.ca.
Yep.
You can learn about the class, book the class. It's on the Grand River, so I think that's a really great place to learn is some steelheading tactics because it's a really great place to find steelhead. But yeah, that class, you can sign up for that. I think that's going to be pretty awesome. The first one was really well attended, which is great. BGOW also, this is very last minute, but if you're a woman of color, racialized woman, or a female identifying individual of color, and you would love to fish
brook trout.
for pike, not brook trout.
Pike.
No brook trout. If you want to fish the Montreal River at Elk Lake Wilderness Resort, BGOW, if you go over to browngirloutdoorworld.com, they've got a trip there next weekend, and I think there's a couple spots left. I think there are 2. And yeah, the whole thing is like fully outfitted and whatnot. You can have
It's awesome up
boats.
there.
Yeah.
You're gonna get your lunch, your dinner, your cabin, everything's taken care of. So reach out to them or send them a DM on Instagram. That's also happening next weekend. And if you've never fly fished before, that's cool. It's not just going to be fly fishing; they're going to be doing some conventional angling as well. So if you want to try out fishing and explore Northern Ontario in one of our favorite places, that is happening next weekend. That's
Heck yeah.
it for the I don't know what do we call this hometown report.
Yeah.
Hometown report. Yeah.
I think I mentioned
Oh, wow,
earlier,
that's a great
thanks, big time. Thank you to our sponsor, one of our sponsors, Reddington Rio. They're having an awesome 50% off sale. Of course, thanks to all of our sponsors over the years. First and foremost, Drift Outfitters, who's there from day one. So
yeah.
thanks, Rob and Chris and the whole team down there.
Yeah.
Thanks to Chums and Costa, our current sponsors, but thanks to all the other sponsors that helped us along the way. 40 Creek Whiskey, Gills Fly Fishing International,
Muskoka.
Muskoka Brewing,
Mhm.
Muttonhead, Bob Cajun,
Muttonhead.
Muttonhead.
Love ya. All the lodges that have given it a
Arc'teryx.
shot. Eric Lund, Eric Fenkel, obviously Roger and
Mary Jo.
and now the new owners, Mallory and
Mallory
Jason
and
up at Elk
Jason.
Lake, and everyone that's just given us a shot. Matt
Captain
down
Matt
in Texas
Dodson.
for having us down there and fishing with you.
Captain
like
Joe,
Jason in Indiana. I mean,
Hannah over at Costa.
Benny in Florida recently. There's just obviously a lot of people that are like just super kind and willing to take
Everybody down in
us
Indiana.
idiots out on their boats or have us at their lodge. We really appreciate that because it's done everything for us.
Joel.
And definitely, good call, Yoma. Definitely all the shooters that have come out
Yeah.
and not got paid and helped us out and just
And
to
the one
be
who's-
creative. Andy, Idis, of course,
Of course.
Joel,
The one who's still with us.
Look at him.
Gab.
So happy.
He's so happy.
Gab, shout out to Gab. one of
Shout out
the
to Gab, of
OGs.
course.
Yeah.
I don't. Who are we forgetting?
Everyone
Did we
listening.
Kate Scott
literally,
out east?
everyone listening, of course, Kate Scott, everybody we
Everybody,
met in our lives.
Everybody, Ethan,
And,
everybody, Clay,
yeah.
everybody, Jesus, everybody, Moses,
People that listen to
everybody.
the show, thank you so much for listening and supporting us over the years, because it's obviously we're just gonna keep talking, but it's nice that people want to join in and again be part of the community, and without everyone there is no community. So rock and roll. Thanks for coming to our events, and thank you for watching this live stream. We recorded this time, hopefully. Thanks,
Oh
boys.
man.
Nice, man. And obviously, if you weren't one of the 15 people watching
Yeah.
now, we're going to upload this.
Right now.
It's going to be available on YouTube,
Mhm.
Apple Music or iTunes, whatever the hell it's called, Spotify, and wherever you find podcast. B-Rice!
B-Rice is in the
B-Rice.
house.
B-Rice. A live
see-
stream legend.
We'll see you again during the holidays, B-Rice. Thanks,
Thanks,
Papa
Ken.
Dews. All right. Well, that's thank you everybody for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. And here's to another 150 episodes, so we can crack to 300 episodes.
And then Yilma can finally
and then
rest.
Yilma can quit. That's it for me, Mitch.
Oh,
Aldo.
man, B-Rice. Remember B-Rice from our Christmas
Yeah.
show? Won a bunch of streamers.
Oh, he caught fish on them.
Caught fish on the streamers.
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, right
right
on.
on, B-Rice.
B-Rice,
Hell
you have
yeah.
a picture of those fish? Send
Yeah,
it to us.
send us
We'll post
pictures.
it.
We'll post it. That's it from me. That's it from B-Rice. That's it from Aldo.
That's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. SoFly.ca at the SoFly crew.
That's
at
it from
this, at
Idis.
that.
Idis?
Yeah. Love you all.
Yeah. Love you
Ciao.
all. And Yelma.
Bye,
All right,
everyone.
everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and see you later.